What is going on, everyone, and welcome to r/EntitledParents. Now, in today's first story, as you can tell by the title, it involves an anti-vax Karen in a pharmacy. What a perfect combination. I mean, it's just look forward to this one, guys. It's a cracker. But before we jump into that, first of all, if you are new around here, please consider subscribing to my channel. It is completely free. It would mean a lot to me, and I'm trying to hit 600,000 by the end of 2020. Oh my god. Sometimes, can you subscribe for the rhymes, guys? And for the freestyle rap. Let me get into this and stop all this crap. I've got loads of bars. Let's get into the video. Anti-vaxxer causes a scene at a pharmacy. I work at the front desk at a pharmacy. No problems usually, but the other day I met an anti-vaxxer but threw a temper tantrum over a single comment. It went like this. I was just finishing this one lady's order and mentioned how cute her baby's mini mask was on her, and she said, "Well, we don't want her to get COVID, right?" We had a laugh and talked a little because there was no one else there for a while. Until an entitled parent and her angel on a Nintendo Switch got in line. And then I started to wrap it up to see what she needed. I said, "Well, it was nice talking with you. Have a nice day." She said, "You too. Be safe. Can't be too safe." "Yeah, let's just hope that vaccine comes around soon," I replied. At that moment, the entitled parent let out the most loud and exaggerated sigh imaginable. The other lady said, "Yeah, definitely. Bye." Bye. The entitled parent then comes up, arms crossed and nose wrinkled, and I give her prescription. All seemed okay. But then she decided there wasn't enough action. Coincidentally, at the same time, the line started to fill up out of nowhere. The entitled parent said, "And by the way, vaccines are harmful, they cause autism, and guess what? They actually put the disease itself in the shots." "Yes, that's how vaccines work," I replied. Looking back, I see that the problem was partially my fault. I should have just let it go, but I wasn't thinking, and I ended up starting a storm. "Oh, so now they're not even trying to hide it anymore? Because the secret's out?" "It was never a secret in the first place." I cut myself off and took a second to close my eyes and move along for the sake of the next customers. "Oh, yeah, right. Now it's not a secret according to them. Coincidentally, around the same time people started finding out about this. Do you know you're endangering children spreading lies like this?" Says her. "Okay, thank you. Have a nice day." "Oh, right. Run away because you can't defend yourself anymore. Tell me to leave because I'm waking everybody up and you don't want people to know the truth." "Please, can we move on?" "You admitted it. Vaccines carry the disease in them. So by telling me to get my son vaccinated, you're saying my son should get the coronavirus. Also, you can inject autism-causing chemicals into them like freaking psychopaths." Vaccines don't cause autism, and vaccines carry the disease because that's how a vaccine works. Do you need me to explain it to you? Please, can we just move along? There is a line forming, and they need stuff too. "Vaccines do cause autism. Do your research. I know perfectly well how a vaccine works. I don't need a lecture from a heartless moron like you." She starts walking away, flipping off the security camera, saying, "Have a nice day, you idiots." And I say, "Yeah, F you too." Oh, that's real mature. She says that at the exit, attempting to slam the automatic door. I love how she questions my maturity as if she didn't just start an argument over me having hope for humanity. For those of you wondering, here's why vaccines have the disease in it that it's intended to stop. After your body defeats an infection, memory cells store the DNA information from the cells of the infection, so that if the infection comes back, the memory cells will tell the body how to fight the infection properly from the start, so the infection is no longer a threat. By introducing a weaker version of a deadly disease through a vaccine, your body will be prepared for how to defend it before the actual disease can cause any real harm. This is a big simplification, but it gives you all you need to know, and all Karen doesn't know. Yeah, to be honest, guys, I really don't get this anti-vax banter at all. I mean, if you speak to someone who knows, just a little bit about vaccines, like OP, or, just about, science in general, then they'll inform you as to why, vaccines work the way they do and why they're so important. I mean, it literally takes one Google search, really, as well. You don't have to go and speak to someone. It's just obvious. And when you hear the reason why vaccines do contain a weak strain of the virus they are helping to protect, as OP has just said, then it makes complete sense, Of course, give your body something weaker so it can defend itself. And then when it gets to the actual deadly virus that your body now knows how to stop, it knows how to stop it because it's dealt with the weaker one in the past. Makes complete sense to me. I guess this Karen just hasn't particularly heard, someone say this to her before, so she just has this like automatic response to vaccines that is obviously anti-vax. But it's so stupid, isn't it? It's so stupid. And I'm glad that OP has, told us why vaccines contain viruses and why this Karen is just so dumb. Now moving on to our second story. Let my baby see the dog. So, after an incredibly toxic family dinner, my wife and I decided to take our dogs on a walk. I have 2 dogs and both of them are rescues. The first one, named Miles, is a Chunkmeister Supreme, super patient and super kind. The other dog, named Samson, is an anxious mess. He was abused and he barks at random strangers. He is a sweet boy, but we've been working on leash aggression. Anyway, we began our walk around our neighborhood when my wife realized she forgot something. She had Samson and quickly ran inside to grab it. I believe it was gloves. It was cold outside. Don't quote me on that. No, don't worry, I won't quote you on that to your own wife who I don't know. As I'm waiting in our driveway, an entitled mum and her entitled brat walk by. It starts off as a normal neighborly talk, and then we wish each other a Merry Christmas. The entitled brat stopped and pet Miles, which is completely fine with me. Miles likes attention, and he is a sweet dog who can handle it. The entitled mum continues talking when I hear a bark come from our front door. I see where this is going. I turn and my wife is standing in the doorway. She sees the entitled mum and her entitled brat and goes back in the house and waits for them to leave. That's always our routine with Samson, as he needs a minute to get used to being on his leash. The entitled brats saw my other dog and ran over to the glass door to look at him. Samson is losing his head behind the glass, and I quickly ran over and tried to explain the normal, he had a bad owner before we adopted him, so he is scared routine. The kid though didn't care. He wanted to see Samson and he demanded to see him now. He put his hand on the doorknob to try and open it, and I lightly pushed his hand off it. The entitled mum ran over, and I expected her to explain to her kid why he couldn't just open up someone's door, especially during a pandemic, but instead, she yells at me for pushing his hand off. I was taken aback, but I apologized nonetheless. I just wanted them to get away from the door. The little boy kept screaming that he wanted to see Samson, and I was trying to explain to the mum why that wasn't possible when she crossed her arms and frowned. If he's so violent, maybe I should just call animal control. At this point, my mood is terrible. I look at the woman and tell her that she can get off my property now and have a Merry Christmas. She rolls her eyes and takes her brat by the hand and walks to the streets. She stands right off my driveway and crosses her arms and tells me that if I bring that dog out and it barks, she's going to call animal control. Her entitled brat is still screaming for the dog, and I just look at my wife defeated. I felt like this is the type of woman who would follow us on the walk just to be petty. So I walked back into the house, took my dogs off the harnesses, and my wife and I went on our walk without them. That was fine. When we got back, however, my grandfather is screaming at someone. My wife and I run over to see our back gate open. The entitled brat and his elder entitled brat, about a 14-year-old boy, was standing at the gate of our backyard with my grandpa standing between them. They had a super soaker and were wanting to spray your dogs for being mean dogs. I took the water gun from them and just broke it. Then I tossed it in the streets. Yes, this was probably overdramatic, but if Samson was back there when they were sneaking back, this could have gone really wrong. They ran off crying, and their entitled mum came waddling back to our house. We wouldn't answer the door, and so she stayed on our porch for 30 minutes and demanded we buy a new sofa soaker for her kids. When she finally left, she threatened to crack our gate open in the middle of the night so the dogs would get out. Thankfully, my wife had the right mind to record this, so if anything happens, we can bring it to the authorities. All this to say, please just listen to people when they're working with a reactive dog. Oh, and also, I hope everyone here had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. At this point, OP, when this entitled mum is literally threatening to come into your property, like leave your gate unlocked at night and, do loads of other stuff, and, her kids are literally sneaking around your property, just call the police. Because, what are you going to do about it? You can't exactly be your own security for the next however many hours every night, can you? And yes, recording it is one thing, but, that is not going to do anything alone. That will be good evidence to show to the police if you do call them. So yeah, you could get a lock. Yeah, you could, do a number of other measures, but realistically, get the police involved. Get these guys gone, because they are absolute losers. What are they doing with their lives? Seriously. One dog that they want to come and pet when they don't even know anything about it, and you've told them no, this dog has been abused in its past, it's not going to be very welcoming towards you. Why would you then want to go and see that dog? I don't get it. Personally, I'd be like, oh, you know what? Hope your dog has a great life. I'm out of here. I don't want to get attacked by your dog. But clearly, these people don't care. Weird. Now moving on to our final story, just a quick one. Entitled mother doesn't check that the movie isn't for kids and blames the cinema employees. About a few years back, me and a few friends went to a movie theatre to watch this movie called Kubo and the Two Strings. It may sound childish, and because it was animated, a lot of people thought it was for kids. But, fun fact people, animated doesn't mean child-friendly. It was also made by this company called Leica, the same that made Coraline, so they're gonna have some scary themes. Anyways, on to the story. Me and my friends are waiting behind someone who is holding a 4 to 6-year-old boy, and the conversation goes like this. The poor employee says, "Oh, sorry mom, but this movie might be scary for your kid. I know it looks innocent, but it has some horror scenes." The entitled mum replied, "Is this a joke?" What do you mean?" "I'm not an idiot. This is animated. It's for kids. Now just give me my ticket already." I say, "He might be right, mom. Animated movies can be scary." "Excuse me, who do you think you are? I am an adult and there is no way you know any better than me. You kids these days have no respect whatsoever." At that point, I just stay quiet. So we then get our popcorn and sit down in our seats. The movie started, and so far there was nothing much, except for a little bloody eye in the beginning that you can't really see that much. Then, the first quite scary scene comes up. We hear a child scream, and almost everybody looks behind. The entitled mum then shouts, "He gave me the wrong ticket!" She storms out and starts yelling at a random employee. Some people get up, including me, to see what's happening. After like a minute of arguing with the employee, she and her kid, still crying, get escorted out by security. And that simply is why you should probably listen to someone who is talking about something they have more knowledge about than you. I mean, it's the same with all three stories, right? You know, the vaccine in the first one, obviously the pharmacist knows more than the Karen. The second one, the owner of the dog is obviously going to know more than someone who wants to meet the dog. And then third one, this guy literally, works in a cinema. He's going to know about the films that are going on. And just because it's a cartoon, as OP so rightly said, does not mean it's not for adults, and it does not mean that it's not scary. I'm imagining that it can't have been too scary because otherwise the kid wouldn't have been let in. So it must have been like a 12A, I guess, where, younger kids are allowed in. But still, a 12A can obviously be very scary for someone that's 4 to 6 years old. And yeah, I mean, this Karen, I bet she is now wishing that she had listened more closely to the employee. Well, actually, now that I think about it, no. She immediately was like, "I'm not to blame for this. Let's blame the employee who gave me the wrong ticket." I mean, surely she knows in her heart of hearts that, she did the wrong thing here. And she actually, of course, got the right ticket. But yeah, obviously, Karens like to put the blame onto other people, don't they? Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on this video, comment your opinions on these 3 stories down below, and watch some more Entitled Parents right away, checking out this playlist right here. If you're new to my channel, like I said, please feel free to subscribe. And finally, if you want some merch, because it's lovely and it supports me lovelyly, that's down here as well. Alright, peace, guys. See you soon.